Places in Star Wars that me and my subscribers could overthrow. Now that may seem like a weird video concept, and that's because it is, but it's pretty creative, so pat myself on the back for that. But yeah, I've done this video in like a TikTok style, so obviously only 1 minute long, and it absolutely stunk, but I put it on a poll asking if people wanted to see this, and well, people did, so I'm here to do it on YouTube, so let's get on with it. So to start off, we need to count how many numbers we actually have before we decide where and if we can overthrow places. So a head count on YouTube, we have approximately 8.9 thousand subscribers. I know it's a little bit over, but we're going to go down because when I made the script for this video it was on 8.9, so we'll call it 8.9. And if we add the 14,000 that I have on TikTok, that gives us 22,900. However, there's definitely at least 1,000 to 2,000 that are both subscribed to me and following me on TikTok. You may think it is more, but I definitely do not, because whenever I promote my YouTube channel on TikTok, the video always stinks, so I don't imagine there is too many of you that are following my TikTok and are subscribed. But if you are, leave a comment. Anyway, we'll round it down to 20,000. And if you're wondering what like a crowd size of that many people looks like, it is this. I googled it and this is what came up, so pretty big. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to find a bunch of relevant places in the Star Wars universe and assess or evaluate if we could overthrow them, and pick out some key people that we need to watch out for and stuff like that. It will make sense as we go along, but that is the general idea of it. So the first one, this is absolutely where the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins.
The first place is Maridan, and specifically the village of Maridan. We see it in the Clone Wars, which I'll speak more of in a second, but it's only the village of Maridan because the population of the planet is 600,000. Maridan is seen in the Clone Wars where Anakin is injured and Ayla Secura, Ahsoka, Rex, etc. are there, and they go to these villages for help for Anakin basically. And I wasn't a big fan of this arc. I wasn't a big fan of the villagers in this arc, specifically the main villager, so I would be more than happy to overthrow this village. So let's find out how easy it actually would be for us. The estimated population of this village is around 50, meaning that we outnumber them by 19,950. I would happily take all 50 alone because they really do annoy me, and they are absolutely tiny, and they don't carry weapons either. However, I gotta let you guys have some fun too, so we're doing this together, and we're running this like Darth Maul, creating his criminal underworld, taking over places, gaining power, whilst the Republic and Separatists are busy fighting their war. So we are bringing all of our numbers to every place that we overthrow. Now, second is the first place from the Mandalorian, but I have to warn you that there are a few from the Mandalorian because we see a lot of smaller places there, and the first one is going to be Mos Pelgo. Now, Mos Pelgo is the village on Tatooine, saw in the first episode of season 2, being chapter 9, where we see Cobb Vanth and the Krayt Dragon and stuff like that. And the population of Mos Pelgo is estimated to be 100 times smaller than Mos Eisley, and Mos Eisley has between 40,000 to 60,000, so we'll call it 50,000, meaning that Mos Pelgo has 500 people, so we have a numerical advantage of 19,500. So again, this one would be pretty easy and a pretty cool one to overthrow, one of the three main places on Tatooine. Obviously there's Mos Eisley, Mos Espa, and then Mos Pelgo, so it would be pretty cool to have control of one of them. However, let's not forget that they do have Cobb Vanth, a very good fighter, so some of us will definitely fall in this battle to overthrow Mos Pelgo, but it would be still very successful. Now, third, again from the Mandalorian, it is going to be the whole planet of Sorgan. Now, Sorgan is the village where Din Djarin and Cara Dune train them up to fight off the bad guys with the AT-ST. So that whole planet is what we're taking over this time. So what we see of Sorgan is just a kind of village or town area where Mando first meets Cara Dune. Then we see the village that they end up going to, and we also see the place where the bad guys are set up. If we guess that the village has about 60 people, because there's 25 buildings, some of them aren't for like living in, so there will only be like a limited amount that do house people. So give it 60 as an absolute max. Say the town is 300 as an absolute max. We're going to overestimate just to be safe, and then say there's 100 bad guys. That is 460 people. Now that's obviously not the whole planet, but Star Wars planets do lack population spread out across the whole planet. But even if we gave Sorgan the benefit of the doubt and quadrupled this number, this would give us a population of 1,840, meaning our numerical advantage is 18,160. So again, this should be pretty easy. However, the bad guys do have an ATSD, so again, that would take out quite a few of us, but we do literally outnumber them by over 10 to 1. So, I don't know, maybe we just have 100 people purely rush around the ATSD, coming from all angles and just climb up on top of it and like rip the driver out. But yeah, I'm sure if Ewoks can take on some ATSTs, we would be just fine. Now next up is probably not the most impressive place to take over, and it is the Lars homestead. However, I didn't say that all of these were going to be tough battles. I said these would be like relevant places in Star Wars that we technically could overthrow, and it is very hard to find places like with an actual population given out, and most planets are in the millions or hundreds of thousands, so there aren't that many relevant places in Star Wars that we could overthrow. But going back onto the Lars homestead, the estimated population is not very many. As a matter of fact, I don't know if we even see anyone else there in the original trilogy other than Luke, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. So yes, they do have a couple droids as well, but this is a like crazily easy W for us. But would it really be? Obi-Wan is obviously on Tatooine at the same time as Luke's protector. So what if Obi-Wan sensed the danger that Luke was in and came to save him? Now, there's also the argument that this is an overthrowing, not like a slaughter, so Luke technically isn't in any danger because we aren't going to kill him, so there's that, but then the chances are Obi-Wan would sense 20,000 people going near, like Luke Skywalker, so he could show up. However, can Obi-Wan or Old Ben actually take 20,000 people? Obviously, he fought in the Clone Wars, and he never would have to face 20,000 droids at once, and yes, we don't just magically spawn into the Star Wars universe with a bunch of blasters, so we would be worse than the average B1 battle droid. However, there's still 20,000 of us, and it's not like he's a Sith that gets to use offensive dark side abilities like Maul or Vader, for example. He's not just going to attack us all with a Force choke or something like that. So I think even if Obi-Wan turned up, we would definitely still be able to defeat him and take over the Lars homestead, and that's why I've included it, because it's very interesting. How would it turn out if 20,000 of us faced Obi-Wan Kenobi? I definitely think a lot of us would go down, because as soon as we get near him, vajom, 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 lightsaber, we are dead. However, 20,000 is a really, really big number, so I do think we would somehow find a way to beat him. But like Mos Pelgo, a lot of us would be lost in this overthrowing. Now next up, sticking to the theme of Tatooine, is not really like a relevant location, more of what I would call a motorhome. I don't seem to have taken advantage of our huge numerical advantage in many of these, but like I said, there aren't really like many places in Star Wars that have like a population of around 20,000, and it would be hard to pick somewhere like Mos Eisley that has 60,000 or 50,000 and just say, with the element of surprise and everything like that, we'd be able to take them, because realistically, we don't have weapons, and in Mos Eisley, there's a lot of bounty hunters, a lot of like scoundrels, and they all have blasters, so that is not somewhere where we could overthrow. Like I said before, most planets have like numbers in the hundreds of thousands at least, let alone like potential Imperial occupancy, or depending when we're doing this, like what time period, Separatist Alliance like being present there, the Republic, the Rebellion, or anything like that. So yeah, going back to this motorhome, it is a Jawa sandcrawler. Now, the estimated population according to Google is 8 Jawas, but I'm pretty sure in The Mandalorian, when he goes like to chase down his parts that they've stolen from his ship, we see much more than 8, so I'm going to guess it to be 30. So we outnumber the Jawas by 19,970. So again, pretty easy. But I quite like sandcrawlers. I think they're pretty cool. So I would definitely want to overthrow one and own one in the Star Wars galaxy. And you know what? let's just take a few of them. Let's take 5 for the sake of it. Why not? 6th is going to be another small village that I would again enjoy overthrowing, and actually potentially beneficial if this was like a real thing and if we were in the Star Wars galaxy, because even Hondo Ohnaka saw profit in this kind of situation. Now it is the village on Felucia that we see Embo and Obi-Wan and Anakin and Ahsoka fight off Hondo on, and I'm going to give the estimated population around 40, maybe 100 at max, meaning we outnumber them by at least 19,900. Unlike Mos Pelgo, this has no key members to acknowledge unless we're saying Anakin, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and Embo and all the other bounty hunters are there, in which case that's a sticky one, because I don't know if we can defeat Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Embo. I forget the names of the other bounty hunters, but many more bounty hunters. Yes, I know Hondo and his pirates put up a pretty good fight, but I mean, they did have a tank and all of them were armed. We don't magically just have some blasters in Star Wars, so we're going to say for the sake of the video that they are not there and that we do successfully overthrow this village. And that one that whinged when Anakin was trying to teach them how to use the farming tools as a weapon, he's dying because it's funny. Now, I'm sure there is many more places in Star Wars that we would have a good chance of overthrowing, but I try to do relevant ones, and that would be definitely easy for us to overthrow. Obviously, something like Mos Eisley, they only outnumber us by double, but I think most people in Mos Eisley are armed, and that's nearly a guarantee, to be honest, so I don't think we'd be able to do something like that. Jabba's palace obviously would have a significantly less population number to something like Mos Eisley. Guess it below 1,000, a couple hundred at most. However, there is a load of bounty hunters there. There is a Rancor, so I don't think we'd be able to do that. And then there's some other things, maybe a light cruiser we could overtake if we stole if we stole a ship and just approached it. However, I'm not sure how successful that would be, because obviously they would sense us coming, send out TIE fighters, etc, etc. So I included ones that would be guarantees and relevant places. If you want me to try and find out some others that we could potentially overthrow, I would more than happily do a part 2 to this. However, I did really try to look for some more to include in this video, so that would be a big challenge. So maybe leave some suggestions below, and yeah, let me know if you want to see a part 2 to this. But just a fun video. Like I said, I've done this before on my TikTok and it absolutely stunk. Only got 300 views, and for TikTok that's not that good, but for YouTube that is okay, say. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. Subscribe if you are new. We are fastly approaching 10,000 subscribers. I don't know what I'm on at the time of this going out, but I know that right now I'm near 9k, so if I've hit it, thank you very much. And if I haven't, then please do get me to 9k. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.